We are monitoring the situation very carefully, and if you look at the indicators in terms of unlinked cases, and more carefully in terms of what we are picking up from the Sentinel surveillance, I wouldn't say that the situation is where we were before we entered the circuit breaker last year. Our public health experts who have been monitoring this very carefully would liken it more to the early phase when we entered into the COVID-19 outbreak, and we were seeing sprinkling of community cases throughout our community. Right? Maybe more like the situation February, March, rather than right before the circuit breaker. So there is a qualitative difference in the situation assessment by our public health experts. That's one. Number two, we also have far better capabilities today compared to then. We have more testing capabilities. We also have better contact tracing capabilities, where we are able to move in faster, identify the potential close contacts, and even the wider ring of possible exposures, and get everyone tested so that we can more quickly ring-fence the cases and prevent further spread of the virus. So I think if you look at where we are today, it is not quite the same as the situation before the circuit breaker. We think we are able to snuff out the current outbreak of clusters and bring things under control. But as an additional preemptive step, we are taking this move that we have just described, bringing the whole suite of measures back to phase 2 and taking a much tighter posture overall. And we believe that if we do that, and if everyone cooperates from now to 30th of May or end of May, we have a good chance of bringing cases down and getting things back on control.
I think it's important for us to clarify that we have not ruled out the possibility of a circuit breaker. Certainly we hope that we won't get there, and we must do what we can with this set of measures that we've just announced, and with the cooperation and support of all Singaporeans. I think we probably will be able to avoid having to get to a circuit breaker situation. But we cannot rule that out, and that is why we will have to remain vigilant and monitor the situation and adjust our measures as we go along.
We all know that based on the experience so far, the cases that we are seeing popping up are due to the new variants. They are more infectious, and larger clusters are forming as compared to, say, months ago, where we did have unlinked cases, but then you would have one or two and they would stop there. You wouldn't have such big clusters. This doesn't seem to be the case more recently with the ICA cluster and the Tan Tock Seng Hospital cluster. We hope we will have contained these clusters, and with the new measures we would be able to slow down the spread. But if new unlinked cases continue to pop up, new large clusters continue to emerge in the coming days and weeks, then certainly we will not hesitate to take even more stringent measures, even the possibility of having to enter another circuit breaker down the road. But let's try our best to avoid that scenario, and let's all do our part first to, as I said, comply with the new measures, the latest set of measures, and do it not just following the letter of the law, but do it in the spirit of it.